What's up, guys? Welcome back to Digital Dive In, the proper gaming talk show where we dive into the latest news in gaming every single week. We got a new segment for you guys in the Digital Dive In variety channel called Gaming Versus or Versus or Smokehouse or I don't know what we're going to call it yet. I think we're just going to call it Versus. But essentially, this whole segment is us debating a certain topic against each other. Like, we're on polar opposites. We might agree on some things, but for the most part, we both have very different opinions. We came up with this because half the time when we're just chatting throughout the week in our group, we're arguing about shit. So it's like, you know what? We should just record these conversations and put them up for people to either love, hate, or, just be controversial about.
Make your bets, folks.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about exclusivity, specifically if it's going to stick around for a while or if we think it's going to be leaving anytime soon. Purely we're talking about this because of all the latest news about these big-ass gaming companies acquiring different other gaming companies and developers. Microsoft just bought Activision Blizzard. Before that, they bought Bethesda. And yesterday, 2 days ago, by the time this video goes up, Sony bought Bungie, or is buying Bungie. There's a lot of stuff going on, and instead of just diving into those topics and saying what it could mean for the video game world, we're going to talk about exclusivity, because there's a lot of things that a lot of gamers across social media are talking about, are confused about, are scared about, and both of us have different opinions on that. So I'm on the camp that exclusivity is coming to an end, and SGK over here.
Oh, Patrick. Oh, Patrick. There.
He thinks that's going to be around forever, or at least for a while.
For a while, I feel like, and I'll start the conversation.
Yeah, go for it.
Just because of the fact that so gaming companies aren't, estranged to buying other companies, eating things up. We've seen this happen time and time again. And then, we had that WB merger or WB dissolvement,
Yeah.
And so, so we've seen this happen time and time again. But like when you have these companies that are like rapidly buying up these other companies, it's just like they're trying to build something. They're not only trying to, I wouldn't say necessarily gatekeep, but they're trying to like rev up competition, and trying to also keep other people from pulling the same move and getting up a more leg up or more advantage in the industry. I don't think gamers are unreasonably worried, where it's just like when you make $billion purchases, and granted, $1 billion for these companies is nothing. It's probably like $20 exactly. For them. So that's fine. But like when you make these $1 billion purchases, you want to see a return on it. And that usually is in the form of exclusivity, popular, fresh IPs, new IPs, usually something that's particularly for that fan base, or for that demographic. So, me personally, if you look in the last recent years, you had Sony acquire Firesprite, which they're doing the VR games. They're working on upcoming Horizon VR game.
Yeah.
You had them buy Housemarque, which popped out with Returnal.
I think it's Housemarque.
House
I think it's just Housemarque.
I'm gonna call it Housemarque because that's what I said. I'm sticking to it. It might catch on. Who knows?
Housemarque. They're
Sounds
Spanish
fancy.
now.
And then of course they brought Insomniac back in 2018. What was it, 2019? So that was a huge acquisition, and they're going to be raking in all that money from Spider-Man and Wolverine, And then you have on Microsoft side, you have Obsidian, which we all know.
They bought ZeniMax. They just bought ZeniMax in general.
And then they've had Ninja Theory for a while. Mm-hmm. They've had Compulsion Games, which the We Happy Few. And then they've had the Playground Games Forza series. So
and 343.
Yeah. So I feel like and it's funny because some people might say, "Oh man, this is like a little petty thing," because it's like Sony, Microsoft brought Activision Blizzard, and then Sony brought Bungie, who used to work with Activision Blizzard. It's like I hook up with your ex, after I'm done with you, sloppy seconds kind of thing. It was like,
kinda. Okay, so here's my thing. Here's my argument in general. The reason I think that exclusivity is coming to an end is purely because, from what we've seen, specifically from Sony, a lot of their brand new releases that are coming out this year for the PlayStation 5 that are exclusives are also coming out on the PC. Like a lot of the games, except for, Horizon, God of War, the new God of War, anyways, and I guess the next Spider-Man and Wolverine games aren't come to PC yet. But I almost guarantee they will because we have games like Sifu coming to PC on launch. We have games like, what was it, Ghostwire Tokyo coming on PC, Forspoken coming on PC. Now, the argument could be made that some of these developers already have contracts with Microsoft as well. So that's why they're also being ported to PC. However, we also have seen, Horizon getting put onto PC, God of War 2018 getting put onto PC. And I almost expect them to be putting Spider-Man and games like that over to PC as well soon.
Eventually.
So, yeah, eventually I think it's going to happen. Not only that, but with their brand new acquisition of Bungie, they already announced that Bungie is going to stay a multi-platform studio. And that's between Destiny and all future games. There have been some rumors that they were working on an exclusive IP, but from what I've been seeing, they've already said that Bungie maintains a complete creative control and publishing independence of Destiny the universe. So, in terms of Destiny, yes, but from what I've been seeing across, they've already said that Bungie itself will stay a multi-platform studio. So that might also mean that all future games Bungie might be making will stay multi-platform as well. They won't be exclusive. So,
let's take a pause and talk about a little Nintendo over here. This company is stubborn as fuck. They do not.
Nintendo's Nintendo. They've always been like this, and nothing's ever going to change with them ever. They're going to be the one that holds out for eternity. And there was even rumors about because they're saying that Sony was going to buy a big AAA dev, and they're saying, "Oh, it's going to be Nintendo." I'm like, it's not going to be Nintendo. They are like rich on rich. They're not going to buy Nintendo. Come on.
Doesn't even work. Like, how would you? What? No.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But this isn't just for Sony either in terms of keeping games multi-platform, because even Phil Spencer said when they bought Activision Blizzard that Call of Duty was going to stay multi-platform. Now, the other, at least
like what, 3 or 4 games.
Well, yeah, but I mean, those 3 or 4 games are stopping the whole, yearly releases, and they're going every other year, like Assassin's Creed is doing.
Yeah.
So 3 or 4 games, that's 8 years right there of Call of Duty.
They said that that's what we were looking at. So, yeah. But
I almost guarantee that they're going to stay in multi-platform just because money. Like Call of Duty rakes in so much money. And,
unfortunately.
Yeah. And eliminating the PlayStation market would be a pretty big hit because there's a lot of Call of Duty players on PlayStation. So, in my opinion, I think that the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X is going to be the last generation of exclusivity, like big exclusivity. I think we might see some games stay exclusive. Like Halo might stay an exclusive title. Spider-Man, like Insomniac, might stay an exclusive dev to PlayStation. But for the most part, I think we're going to be seeing more games on all platforms rather than just one or the other.
Because we've seen in the past that Sony's been really stubborn about certain things like
cross-platform and cross-play.
So I think they're just trying to adapt because they realize that while they've been in the gaming industry longer, Microsoft it has more of an accessible base where they technically have 2 consoles going on right now. One's never going out of style. PC's never going out of style.
PC's not going anywhere. PC is going to be what everyone just ends up doing.
Goes to eventually. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the general, evolution of gaming. Is like you start off on your handheld, move up to a console, then you go to PC. That's just the evolution.
It's like I think they're just trying to pretty much navigate, get some of that money on PC. Because if you look at God of War, it's become one of the biggest selling PC games.
Oh yeah,
out.
Oh yeah,
and Sony is like raking in. You know how greedy Sony is. At least 40% of that cut. They're just like, yo, that's our game. We're getting the money for that.
Yeah.
So, I think that's still a thing, but like as far as the exclusivity, I feel like if they were going to keep things exclusive, why buy these companies? I mean, to get a portion of the money.
not only that, but a lot of these companies that they're buying are in trouble. So Bungie left Activision a couple years ago, and since then they've been self-publishing Destiny 2 and all the DLCs and everything. They're still going to be self-publishing, but now that they have Sony behind them, they have so many more resources. So now, instead of just being known for Destiny, they actually have the resource to section off part of their team just for Destiny, while the rest of them focus on new stuff. Because before now, they have not been able to do that.
Right.
So I think it's because of that, and because they're owned by Sony now, Sony will get a cut of all sales no matter what platform it gets sold on.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I feel like it's hard to say that exclusivity isn't going anywhere because Phil Spencer was talking about how they want to keep things competitive and keep things all that keep drive sales and competition and you can do that while being multi-platform, but it's a formula best used for consolidating and ownership and complete like exclusivity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I understand.
So it's just like as big as these companies are, and clearly they're competing with each other.
Yeah,
and it's just like on the one hand, like PlayStation has a bigger hold in the gaming world, but Microsoft is just a bigger, more lucrative company overall. If you look at all the companies they have things from
they have a ton.
Design to like video games makes up probably less than half of their sales. They probably get all their sales from other things. You know?
Yeah.
So like when you look at it, it's ridiculous, man. Like 67.7 billion people are like, oh man, it's so much money. They're probably just like, like it's probably. Like they probably make trillions of dollars a year, If not, they make multiple billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars. So, like I could see them buying up more. And
I mean, it's there before long. Before long, there's not going to be any third party devs ever. It's going to be they're always just going to be split between Microsoft and Sony. That's it.
And that's what everybody's afraid of. It's going to become more monopolistic.
Which is why I'm like. Guys, just make it multi-platform. Just turn all these games, put them out on all platforms, and just say, hey, this plays the best on this platform. Sony fans are dedicated to Sony regardless of the games that are on the platform. You could have zero exclusives. And this goes for Xbox as well. Each side could have zero exclusives, and all those fans are still going to choose Xbox or PlayStation over the other, no matter what. So even if Sony gets rid of all their exclusives and makes it all multi-platform, it's not going to hurt PlayStation sales at all. People are still going to be buying their systems, and they're still going to sell like freaking crazy.
Yeah,
and it all depends on what your friends have. Really, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
because I got an Xbox in college because all I got, like my roommate and my neighbors and my first semester in college had Xboxes. So I got the 360 and I was playing with them constantly. Then I moved back to Lancaster, Millersville, and all my friends bought the PS4. So I got the PS4 so I could play with them because cross-platform wasn't a thing then.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And then also, if you think about it, PS2 is probably one of the most well-renowned consoles.
Well, it's the best-selling console ever.
Yeah.
So,
and when you look at games that were released on PC and Xbox, PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 2, the one that always ran the worst was PlayStation.
Oh yeah.
But which console sold the best? It doesn't make any sense on paper. Like that was always the worst port, the worst running one, but it sold like the best console ever. So
it sold like the best console ever because they were working off the PlayStation 1.
Right.
And
exactly.
they had a lot of devs working under them already. Xbox had just come into view. And the original Xbox had a lot of issues, and so did the PS2 for that matter, but far less. It was a far more stable system than the Xbox was. And the Xbox 360 far outdid the PS3. Yeah. Far outdid the PS3. And I'm not trying to make this a console war thing, because I'm not trying to come here and say that PlayStation is better than Xbox. Because, again, I think that all games should be available on all platforms. And I there's a couple Xbox games that I would love to play if I had a PC or an Xbox, but I don't.
Oh, is it? honestly, the only way I would see within 10 years that, exclusivity would be going out the window is if PlayStation came out with like a PC desktop.
No,
Like
I mean, I don't think they
I mean,
have to. I don't think they
they
have to.
went,
All they have to do is release like a graphics card or a GPU or something like that, and they're set.
if they, yeah, I mean, if they went more PC like in nature, then I could see them. I could see exclusivity leaving. But like, I think as long as they have consoles and they're making first of all, we're buying consoles at a cheaper rate than what they probably should be costing.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
definitely.
so
we're
so
buying consoles cheaper than the new iPhone. Like,
so to take So
like
like to take a loss on that, on top of cranking out all these consoles, and the poor people that have to stay at the factories and do this shit day in and day out, they're gonna want a return on what they have patented. So I
and
feel like
again,
they're gonna keep
I think
gonna keep
that's
extra.
just them, getting royalties and stuff from these games, regardless of what console they're sold on. I mean, actually, getting rid of exclusives just means that these companies make so much more money.
Yes and no, because if you have to, that depends on how the company looks at it. Like you could rather just get a cut, or you could rather get way more if it's purely on your console. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see how PlayStation keeps going with these releases, because like they did Uncharted so far, they've done Horizon, and they've done God of War, which were some of the three of their like biggest releases as of late. Um, and then I think they might end up doing Ghost of Tsushima
Oh,
2.
yeah, they're gonna do a second game. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding
I,
me? Of course they're
I
gonna
think
do a second game. But
yeah, I think
again,
they might port it over to PC.
well, they already said, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is coming to PC. That was back in October. They said that. Nixies is the guys who are like experts on porting games over to PC, and
Yeah.
PlayStation acquired them back in July of 2021. So they're already working towards putting most of their games on PC as well.
I wouldn't say most. I would say
Well, they're
some.
putting a lot. They're putting a lot. They're putting a lot of their biggest games. Now, they might not be coming to PC right away. They might start off as exclusives on the PlayStation console and then come to PC later, like we're seeing with Horizon, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima, all that. But now we're seeing games, like I said earlier in this video, that are releasing same day on PC.
But I don't think. Yeah, I think it's going to be a long time coming before we have AAA games, AAA Sony exclusives day one coming to PC. I think it's going to be a long time before that happens. Like longer than 10
Well,
years. I mean,
I
I mean, if
like
you,
like I said, they're gonna keep like I think their staple games. Maybe I mean, they might keep Spider. They might keep like Insomniac, and this actually has all to do with their contracts with those developers. So they have to talk with their developers. Say, hey, we want to put your game out on PC too. Is that cool? So I don't know if we'll ever see Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Insomniac games in general come over to PC or Xbox for that matter. And it'll be interesting to see if games like God of War and Horizon go to Xbox after they get released on PC, because that's the biggest thing. PC is just a stepping stone. It can go anywhere from there.
yeah, I mean, and honestly, it's going to be interesting because when you see these PC ports, it becomes obvious how much ahead the PC is than
Oh yeah,
consoles. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think exclusivity is going to depend on the
it all comes down to money, really, in terms for exclusivity. But there's something to say about Sony keeping Bungie multi-platform and Phil Spencer keeping Call of Duty multi-platform. And I think at this point, if we don't see exclusivity come to an end in the next generation or so, it's just going to be a matter of all you really need to play all games is a PlayStation and a PC. You don't need to buy an Xbox, and that's not all right throwing shade at Xbox. That's just saying you don't need an Xbox and a PlayStation and a
gamers.
PC. You just need a
Stop being so
PlayStation and a PC.
yeah,
What?
you just need stop. No, I said gamer, stop being so sensitive. Just because he
Yeah,
said
no, no, because it's the fact. Because every single
well,
Xbox game is now on PC. Every single one through Game Pass, because you can do Game Pass on PC. And then you have Steam and Epic Games. And then you just get a PlayStation. You get all the games that aren't on any other console but PlayStation. And you're set.
And you're good. And
You're
you get
set.
the Steam Deck, because fuck
Yeah.
the Switch. My Switch is going to become a coaster once that thing comes out.
And then, of course, we have the metaverse, which might just bring a full stop to exclusives in general, because everything's going to be part of everything.
Ew. No.
I don't know what to think. I mean, if it's anything like, Ready Player One, then bring it the fuck on. I'm 100% down with that.
No, because look at the outside world. It was terrible. It was so shitty.
It was. But guys, we've said everything we need to say. We're just going in circles at this point. So what do you guys think about exclusivity and the exclusivity war? Not console war. This is not a console war. This is an exclusivity war. What do you think about it? Do you think it's coming to an end? Do you think it's going to stick around? Do you like exclusives? Do you think they're bad for the gaming industry? Let us know what you think in the comment section below, and we will respond to your comments as they come in. But yeah, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Now it's the perfect time to also subscribe, because we're just putting out tons of new content. Go follow us over on TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. He streams over on Twitch a bunch. I stream on Facebook and YouTube. Haven't been lately, but I'm going to try 2 more for you guys.
We're still doing the game giveaway.
Yeah, we're trying to get up to 200 subs. So once we get there, we're going to be giving away a free game to a lucky person.
And we can do it more often, more we get subscribers. And,
Yeah.
once we get the channel flowing, we'll definitely do it more often. It's not just going to be a one-time thing.
Oh, God.
So.
We definitely want to be doing more giveaways and stuff, but we need more subscribers. And that means you guys. So hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video with all your friends. Check us out on all of our social media, including TikTok. And we'll see you guys in the next dive-in. Stay excellent. Bye, guys.